Hello, everyone. My name is John Kind. I am the founder of John Kind Studios. We're an audiovisual company and we specialize in end to end projects. We have a very special podcast episode called Good Listener. It's really an initiative to talk around topics that have to do with mental health and also other deeper topics that, just trying to provide that space so we can just have that conversation. And it's not that it's a new conversation, but it's something that we have to keep having. In every generation, there's always a conversation to be had, and the beautiful thing about conversations is it's an exchange of ideas. And so the whole concept of good listener is to essentially be that a good listener. It's inspired by my late grandmother, Louise C. Whitehead. Her legacy in Boston was very phenomenal. She initiated the free lunch program. Back in the day, there was during Jim Crow in Boston, over by the Boston Latin Academy, the kids that would go to that school, essentially the black and brown kids wouldn't eat. They didn't have the money, and things cost money then. So my grandmother, she would organize the mothers in the neighborhood in Roxbury, and essentially they would make sandwiches and go up to the school. It would be peanut butter sandwiches or peanut butter and jelly, but I think it's mostly like peanut butter sandwiches, and it just hand them out to the kids. And she didn't really want the credit. She was very to herself, and she did accept the credit late in her life, when she was towards the end of her life in her 90s, and Mayor Wu signed a proclamation giving her a holiday on August 13th, and you can see a picture of her just smiling and cheesing. She inspired me a lot, asked her a lot of questions, and her phrase that she said all the time was, be a good listener, be a good listener. And so that's what I work on all the time, because I have a lot of ideas. Those who know me know that I talk a lot, and I have a lot to express, good and bad. But it's still you know, having this journey of being a good listener has helped me reapproach situations and things, and extract wisdom from it, so that moving forward, better decisions could be made. You know, so in honor of this first episode, we actually have someone who submitted a check-in. That's one of the things we do with good listeners. We check in with each other, and I keep it anonymous because I don't want people knowing who these people are. So we're gonna call this person Quiet Fire, and this is their letter. Dear good listener, I don't really know where to begin, but lately I've been struggling with who I am when I'm not needed by anyone. I've always been the dependable one, the fixer, the helper, the one people go to when their lives are falling apart. But now that I have time to myself, I feel like I'm unraveling. I thought freedom would feel like peace, but instead, it feels like I'm floating with no ground beneath me. I keep asking myself, if I'm not useful, am I still valuable? There's this constant war in my mind between wanting to heal and feeling guilty for stepping back. I don't want to lose myself, but I'm starting to wonder if I really knew who I was. Sincerely, Quiet Fire. Yeah, that's deep. So let's start from the beginning, right? Struggling with who you are. When you're not needed by anyone, right? It's it's a thing where, depending on how a childhood is, where we grow up thinking that we are obligated to essentially take care of every urgency someone has. Now, this doesn't mean you shouldn't be there for those that you love. It's really about understanding your limitations, like what you can and can't do. It doesn't mean that you're incapable, because when you love someone, you don't want to believe in limitations. But wisdom helps you really understand, okay, I love this person, I really want to be there, but right now I just can't do it. So when it gets to that point where you're no longer needed by anyone, mission accomplished and things like that, it feels like, well, what is my life about now? Well, guess what? That instance is your opportunity to discover something really genuine about yourself, really authentic. You can really dig deep and ask yourself, like, why? Like, why do I feel like them not being around doesn't complete me? Like, why does it feel like I'm not myself unless I could feel their presence, unless we could talk and things like that? Um, and this need, right, being needed by people is really a natural thing. We're humans, social creatures. Who doesn't want to feel needed? But it's really about catching ourselves when we're going overboard. When you're going overboard, it's the way you talk to yourself, that inner voice, or what's called the inner critic. And that inner critic, it feels like it's protecting you, it's looking out for you, it's giving you harsh truth, it's keeping it real, when really it's just abusing you, and it feels like everyone is thinking what your inner critic is thinking, but they're not. And so you're kind of being, it's like, after a while of like feeling like everyone has something against you, you almost end up indirectly insulting that person before you even realize it. And I know what it's like being in a position where when you feel like no longer needed, it's a gutting feeling. It's like, what do I do with myself? And I realized if I didn't like really start somewhere, you got to start somewhere. Even while you're hurting, even while you're crying and you're feeling lonely, you still got to do something. You got to go for a walk. You got to get in the sun. You got to do something to like so much like shock your consciousness back, because you're going through a separation. So trust that process. That's what I would say to that. And the other part that you said, I don't want to lose my thought, was the like freedom would feel like peace, but it's like it's not really giving you that experience of like excitement, because now you could feel the vastness, you could feel how wide the universe is and how small we really are. And me, I believe in God, and I know God to be real. So like when I first experienced that enlightenment, I'm just calling it enlightenment, it really showed me like, wow, like I'm thinking at this level, but everything that's happening around me is way bigger. Like I'm so used to being a human being, I think it's normal to be this. When if we was to really like zoom out from another species perspective, like another intelligent species, we're fascinating. Even with the destruction and the things that we build, the things that we do, like I'm really fascinated by who we are, regardless of skin color. Like just the humanness, like as a species, is really dope. Like we're fire, like for real. Like there's not one human that isn't dope. That's why we value each other's lives as best as we can. Like we always try to prioritize human life, because we know that a human life is worth, like it's unlimited how much a human life is worth, and and I want you to consider yourself to be a part of that. I want you to consider yourself to be a part of something that doesn't go away. People can come and go, but you remain, and you have to remind yourself that you will always remain no matter what happens to you. And it's a belief to think that you're going to disappear or you leave when other people go. And it's you have to challenge that false reality, because without challenging it, it will remain a reality for you, and everyone would just be trying to look in, trying to get you to see what's actually going on, but you won't be able to see it, but really have more faith and grace in what's going on for your life. Let it unfold. And I'm not going to say everything is all peaches and cream, because it really isn't. It's really about like accepting what you can control, what you can't control, and also making the best out of every moment, even when you're alone. That's why you have to do it, because you can't control every aspect of your life. So if you end up by yourself in a season where you've already given so much to people, you have to embrace it. You got to embrace your moment, and I guarantee there will be a flip in that situation, because we're so inventive as a species, we can really think at different levels. If we're challenged, we get more creative when we're challenged. And right now, we see how the economy is and different things are changing very rapidly. We're being challenged in a deep, deep way. So, but I'm not trying to think like too much with rose colored glasses. I understand, humans make plans and, God laughs, that sentiment, but we really have to plan anyway. We have to write it down. We have to be sure about ourselves. We need little reminders going around all around us, little sticky notes on the wall here and there. No one got to see. It's no one's business, but it's for yourself, because life comes at you fast. Life came at you fast, before you realized it. It's been happening. There been things before you've been born that's been put into motion to get you here, and like you're gonna feel like you don't have a purpose. Like everything orchestrated for you to exist, for you to be able to hear this recording, and you're gonna say that there's nothing special about you. There's nothing special about the way you think, feel, and see the world. You feel like there's no room for you. Why? Because they hold some power? No, they're subject to the same elements of this whole world. No matter how much we revere and love someone and how much we think they're great, like we're all subject to the same things, the elements of nature. So that's what makes us equal in a lot of ways. So I don't want you to feel that way no more, but I can't control that. See, but my suggestion will truly be to embrace it as a positive thing. And if you ever in the future was to think of something negative, or say you catch your inner critic hating on yourself, like, oh man, this ain't even all that, or yeah, you getting too happy about that, don't get too happy about that. You gotta respect the fact that if you're doing that well for your own self to be hating on you, like you gotta keep going. That goes for anything, whether you're working out or working on a new project or something, or working on music, and you're like, oh, this shit sucks, or damn, I don't look right. Like that is actually a good sign, if you look at it that way. Like, damn, like this feels intense and hurtful and it's a lot of emotions. This is great for me. Having bad emotions doesn't have a meaning to it unless you assign that meaning. The meaning could be whatever you want it to be, but I suggest it be based in reality, in things that are factual. If you're working out and you're starting this negative self-talk, you gotta really realize, even if you don't got the words to say anything back to it, because it feel like it got you, like, ooh, I got you, and like that bad impulsive thought. All you really have to do is just say another thought to yourself, like, you know what? If I'm thinking that, things must be going better than I thought. And it sounds like delusion, but it really helps you get a foundation in trusting yourself, trusting your instincts again. Because when we go through life, we get older, we stop trusting ourselves and we start trusting systems and trusting things around us. And then when they fail us, we feel, like really lost. And that's not the truth. We have intelligence, we have a deep inner knowing. Maybe it's DNA, maybe it's culture. I don't know what it is. I refer to it as God. I recognize it as a deep supernatural power that's beyond me, that comes in and helps me, when I'm lost, when I don't understand things, so I'm very dependent on God's wisdom and his energy as best as I can with all my flaws. But I really truly want to encourage you, quiet fire, to no longer be a quiet fire, be a raging fire, because whatever you are and whoever you exist to be, you was meant to be that. There was nobody that was supposed to come in and make you feel like you're any less than just because you're doing something different and you're not on their timeline. It's all good. Your life is still valuable. We all still love you. There's more people that got time for you. Switch it up, like maybe next time just have some extra friends or extra things going on, so when they're doing their thing, you can do your thing, or with other people. But it's gonna be okay, man. It's really gonna be okay. And yeah, I mean, I can go on and on, but I really feel like that. I just want to leave with that, because it's really important that we really take a look at ourselves when things are challenging us negatively, that we know are positive, but we're like, nah, this isn't really doing it for me. So challenge yourself more, think better thoughts, and Thank you for listening to an episode of Good Listener. I look forward to talking to you guys more, and please have a beautiful rest of your day.